Hardest part of making a lid is judging to see if you have enough. Similar to pulling a handle, how much do you start with? Well, it's trial and error and you learn. Now this lid is upside down, and it's the type of lid I prefer. I call it a cover. And if I want this cover to have a slight dome, then this being upside down, I have to open it upwards because we're upside down. I only leave what I need at the center. Don't leave any more than the thickness of the wall. No sense trimming all that. Make sure that's compressed and pretty much finished. See where you're at. And I've been making a elaborate inner flange. See, I've learned to just take my fingers and there's a lid. But I opened it so that I can throw this inner lip larger. It's kind of a counterweight. The idea came for teapots. Even now, I mean, you know, you're still thinking about glaze, how you're going to decorate this pot. And this takes just a little minute, a short time. I will decorate this inside area, and the glaze, I use a translucent glaze, transparent glaze, so it will enhance and pick up the decoration, the surface decoration that I'll put on that. Now initially the function of this was so that the lid had a lower center of gravity for teapots, even though I want you to hold that lid on. But then it simply became a signature of my pots. The other thing at this point, I'm also setting up where to start and stop glaze. You know, I have to stop this glaze somewhere, and then I have to stop that glaze somewhere. So if you pay attention at this point in time, you'll get the glaze results that you want later. My pots aren't fast. I don't make a lot of pots, but I make them exactly the way I want them. So whatever steps I have to take is okay by me. Now again, these lines, it's just what I do. And they're visual, they work with the glaze, but I'll put a line out by the lip, and then I'm going to put a line. This inner flange comes up and goes in, so I'm going to designate. I did this intentionally. And of course it'll be a line that will fill with glaze. And then I left a little bit of a lip there. Now just watch how it'll change and is enhanced by this line. And I know that the glaze will flow, get thicker, and be darker. Now there's lots of different types of stamps. And I encourage you to make as many stamps as you can. You don't have to buy them all. These stamps are actually porcelain bisque. I don't really like plaster. You can make a lot of stamps out of wood. This is a wooden dowel, and I simply took a triangular file, filed 3 grooves, and then that gives me a certain impression when I stamp the porcelain. The other end is the same thing, but I filed off, you know, the round part of that, and I have that. This is a hole maker that I squared off the end of the handle, drilled a hole in the center, and I have that and that. So you're only limited by your own imagination, and what you do to one pot gives you ideas for the next pot. And that's why it was so important to work in that series. And this is a piece of cloth with WD-40, and I spoke the other day of using the bolt pin holes to dissect this form. So if I just come from that hole, come around, get opposite. Now I have to make a choice. Do I want 2 in here or 1? You're making these visual decisions all through the process. So I'll split this, do 2. You don't have to measure everything. And of course, after you've done a lot, certainly helps. Now, this square I could put so that, it's somewhat parallel to those lines, or I could twist this and it'd be more of a diamond shape. That looks a little more interesting to me right now. So I'll do diamonds. Naturally, I've warped that. Sometimes I leave it warped, sometimes I'll put it back, which is quite easy. Just take and put that back on center, the lip. And I also want to actually, see, I could hold that up and stamp it, but I actually want that to give and go in. And maybe I'll do every other one that way. And that warped it again. So I'm going to just exaggerate it and let it be. If you pay attention to what's happening, you get a lot of suggestions. No, I don't like that. Nothing says you can't change your mind.